What started as a highlight reel catch turned into a nightmare. Tyreek Hill is down, and his career in Miami might be in jeopardy. You won't believe what's coming next. Stay with me. Hey everyone, welcome back. In today's video, we're diving deep into one of the most shocking blows to the Dolphins' 2025 season, Tyreek Hill's catastrophic knee injury. We'll break down exactly what happened, what it means for his future, both short and long term, how Miami might respond, and whether Hill even can return to stardom again. If the reports are true, the Dolphins could cut ties with one of the NFL's most electric receivers before 2026 even begins. That would be a bombshell, and I'll show you why many insiders think that's exactly what's coming. To understand where we are, we need to go step by step through what happened. In Week 4 against the Jets, Hill caught a 10-yard pass near the sideline. As he went out of bounds, his left leg twisted awkwardly. Instantly, he collapsed, clutching his knee. The injury was far beyond a simple sprain. Reports confirm Hill dislocated his knee and tore multiple ligaments, including the ACL. Following surgery, the prognosis is a season-ending recovery. But what does multiple ligaments torn actually mean? In this case, the knee has lost key structural supports. The collateral ligaments, the ACL, possibly even damage to the meniscus or surrounding tissue. Each of these adds complexity and risk to any recovery. And here's the kicker. With an injury this severe, a 100% return to peak speed and explosiveness is far from guaranteed, especially for a 31-year-old who built his game on elite quickness. Later, we'll look at comparables, players who suffered similar damage, and see how many ever came back the same. Miami's response was swift but somber. Hill remained hospitalized overnight, underwent surgery, and was ruled out for the rest of 2025. But Hill surprised many. Just days later, he showed up at a team meeting in the Dolphins facility. Despite the pain, he addressed his teammates, boosting morale. Miami head coach Mike McDaniel called his attitude inspiring and said the team drew energy from Hill's presence. From Hill's camp comes the message: surgery went well, no additional operation is expected, and the goal is to return by Week 1 of 2026. Hill's agent has publicly stated that he'd love to remain in Miami, but whether the Dolphins agree is a completely different question. In just a moment, we'll crack open Hill's contract and explain why the Dolphins might not hesitate to move on, even if he wants to come back. This is where things get truly dramatic. As of now, Hill is under contract with Miami through 2026. But the way that deal is structured gives the Dolphins significant flexibility. Here's the breakdown. 2026 base salary, $29.9 million but non-guaranteed. Injury guarantee, $11 million, if Hill is still on the roster. Roster bonus, $5 million, which vests if Hill remains with the team by March 2026. Put together, if Hill is still on the Dolphins roster come March, he would have approximately $16 million guaranteed. But given the severity of the knee injury and the uncertainty of his recovery, league insiders believe Miami is highly likely to release him before that date, thereby avoiding paying the full non-guaranteed salary. That means even though Hill expressed a desire to stay in Miami, the front office might see cutting him as the fiscally safer play. So when I tell you that Hill's time in Miami might already be over, even though he hasn't played in a game in 2026 yet, that's not hyperbole. It's how the business is structured. To gauge just how difficult this comeback might be, let's compare Hill's injury to similar cases. Robert Griffin III had a knee dislocation and struggled returning to his peak. Odell Beckham Jr. had ACL/hamstring issues that limited his explosiveness. Terrell Owens and Wes Welker overcame knee challenges, but they weren't built purely on speed in their later years. In all these cases, players rarely looked the same. Even if they returned functionally, they often lost a fraction of separation speed, sharpness in cuts, or durability. Hill's game is built on those very traits, meaning any decline there would be deeply impactful. And let's not forget age. At 31, recovery is already slower, healing is riskier, and the margin for error shrinks. A successful rehab might not equate to a dominant return. In the final segment, I'll forecast multiple paths for Hill's future. Some promising, some brutal, and list which teams might give him a shot if Miami walks away. Let's map out 3 possible futures for Tyreek Hill. Scenario A, Miami retains him. Restructured deal. If Hill shows strong recovery in rehab and the Dolphins believe in his leadership, they could renegotiate a new deal. Lower base, incentives, shorter term, to keep him in Miami. But that requires faith in his return. Scenario B, Dolphins release, Hill signs elsewhere. If Miami releases him before guarantees vest, Hill becomes a free agent. Teams desperate for receiver firepower might offer a low-risk, high-reward deal, short-term, with injury clauses. But he'll have to prove it on a prove-it deal. Scenario C, career never returns to peak/retirement. Worst case, Hill's speed and explosiveness are permanently diminished, and he becomes a shell of his former self. His legacy will shift from elite receiver to cautionary tale of what might have been. Which of these seems likeliest? Based on contract structure and current reports, many insiders expect Miami to move on, meaning scenario B is trending hardest. As for teams that might take a gamble, names like the Jets, Bears, or even Dolphins AFC rivals could consider signing Hill, hoping for a bounce-back season at low cost. But they'd only do it with protections. One final caveat. Hill isn't giving up. His agent has publicly communicated his desire to remain in Miami and fight back. But in the NFL, desire alone doesn't pay the bills. Bottom line is performance and health. The story of Tyreek Hill's injury and looming contract cliff is far from over, and it's one of the most consequential sagas in the NFL this season. Will the Dolphins release him? Will Hill defy the odds and return to being the same all-pro force? Or will this be the beginning of the end?